Okay. And I'll do an introduction here for our Stroke Warrior friends and family. I'm Ralph Cortez, your host on Stroke Warrior Radio. Today's guest is a true beacon of resilience. Orlena Fong Shek, is that correct? I pronounce?
That's
Is
correct.
a is a former technology licensed attorney turned author, speaker, and powerful stroke and Moyamoya advocate. Welcome, Orlena. It's a pleasure having you on.
Thanks, Ralph. I really appreciate it. As Ralph said,
Mike,
I'm Orlena Fong Shek. I'm a former open source software licensing attorney, double brain surgery, rare disease stroke survivor. Had a stroke while driving, crashed a car, an accident which I survived, and so did my 21-month-old daughter.
oh my
Hope it's
gosh.
okay if I peek at my notes, but I have a good excuse. I don't have the best memory after having a stroke. What if you could no longer use the left side of your body, walk on your own, or have complete vision? That was me after 2011. Now I wear a brace on my foot and arm and use a cane to walk. The day I don't have to hear the sound of Velcro will be groundbreaking.
I like that.
It's basically that's how I start off with. Yeah.
That's very nice. Tell me, did as you had this hemorrhagic stroke and then you were later diagnosed with Moyamoya? How was that discovered and what went through your mind when you heard that?
I really didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a plant. It just sounds so strange. It actually means a puff of smoke in Japanese, the country of its origin. And for the 10-year anniversary of my stroke, which is jumping ahead now, I came out with a book of poetry. And if you guys can see, Moyamoya means a puff of smoke in Japanese. So my book is called Emerging from the Smoke, a collection of warrior voices. And so here's a picture of a Moyamoya brain with a puff of smoke superimposed around the brain and me emerging from the smoke. So it was really triumphant to kind of come out with this for the 10-year anniversary of my stroke. And I basically banded with 20 other survivors, and each poem has a author spotlight and a photo after the poem. And to just realize I'm not alone to work with all these other authors. And on the back of the book is a description of each author as well.
Very cool. Very cool. And is that and this is kind of off our outline, but is that a treatable and do they use some kind of therapies for it? I'm not
Um,
very familiar with
it was a
Moyamoya.
bypass surgery. So they take basically the Moyamoya vessels. I can kind of explain what Moyamoya is. It's a very progressive and rare disease where the carotid artery becomes blocked, causing a stroke, affecting brain function. Maybe that's why I'm not getting good at getting jokes. Moyamoya is managed with a bypass revascularization surgery and medication. And so, and I basically now I understand why it was so hard for me to take the California bar exam. I'm a lawyer. I never had enough blood flow to the brain.
Oh, that makes sense.
So the revascularization surgery was to give me the proper blood flow I needed.
And
So
they didn't discover the Moyamoya until after the stroke.
after the stroke and after I graduated from law school,
Oh, wow.
I was already a
Okay.
full-fledged lawyer. Now we understand why it was so hard all these years. But I was just so lucky that I live in the Bay Area where there's all these doctors who recognize the stroke and recognize that I had this condition. But the things that happen to you, that make my story so interesting. One of I would spend 6 months in and out of rehab hospitals. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. But one note about Kenfield Hospital in Marin, it's a beautiful grounds, but all I wanted to do was just bust out of there. There even was a maximum security prisoner from San Quentin as a patient when I was there. My parents freaked out and hired a 24-hour nurse while I was there. One of the questions I get for people when they see me is, what happened to you? Did you break your leg skiing? I wish it was from an accident. I wish I could ski again. But one of the biggest question I get is, why not just give up? Everything's changed. You lost your job. You can't move one side. You can't see. Well, I got a second chance at life and I'll take it. And I can tell you, you can overcome a tragedy like a stroke. All you need is a little positivity, a dose of creativity to develop a new mindset, a mind over matter mindset. That's what I've kind of learned from this whole experience. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping ahead, Ralph, if that's okay.
That's all right. I love your story. So whatever you want to say, I mean, I've read your story in the Just Say Yes to Life book from Stroke Awareness Oregon, and it's a great story. So whatever you want to
Oh,
put
that
in,
was like a
Orlena,
tidbit of it. Yeah, that was a great interview as well.
yeah. I mean, you're you went through two brain surgeries at Stanford, right?
That's right, a double brain surgery because they have to do both sides.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that it was a two-side thing. What was the medical plan after that? I mean, how did your care team prepare you for what came next? Did they prepare you for the emotional aspects and the physical aspects as well as you would have liked?
No, they didn't really. I mean, husband ended up taking to a second job because I was providing the benefits through my job as an in-house lawyer. Obviously, I lost my job, went on disability till the age of 65. So my husband says the best scenario is to go back to work at 66. So that's in 30 years. So who's going to hire me then? We'll see.
Yeah,
But I do want to show you the crane is considered a mystical or holy creature to live 1,000 years. And when I was in the hospital, all my friends from Sun Microsystems and NetApp squeezed into a NetApp conference room and competed to see who could fold the most paper origami cranes. So they ended up folding 1,000. And now they basically hang in my living room as a testament to see how far I've come. But
very
a
cool.
watershed moment in my rehab occurred 7 years ago when one of my therapists taught me how to stretch my foot out. And guess who went to Las Vegas for a bachelorette party for Sweet Maid's bachelorette party that year? My doctor even found a little therapeutic gym in Burlingame that has the adaptive equipment I can use, and I'm there every day of the week. But 6 years ago, this little gym was on the brink of closure. So my therapist told me to go to a town hall meeting that Burlingame was holding. So I stood up in front of 200 people to say, I can't go to the 24-hour fitness or the YMCA. I need the adaptive equipment that only this gym has. I ended up getting a standing ovation, and someone told me to run for mayor of Burlingame. Bottom line, the last time I saw my neurosurgeon, the Moyamoya vessels are disintegrating. Over time, they'll definitely just disappear, and the likelihood of another stroke is next to none. A pat on his own back that the surgeries were a success. But basically, that's the result of my story is that I won't ever have a stroke again, luckily.
Yeah, very
There's a
cool.
solution to Moyamoya is those bypass surgeries worked.
That's great to hear.
That is great to hear. And
How
that's
how how
my,
long was your physical therapy and do you still go?
I just go when I want to work on different things. So if I'm
Okay.
having some trouble with something, like for a while, I was actually scared of walking in open spaces by myself. And so we worked on that. And then I sometimes have trouble with curbs. But after like 13 years, now I can really do curbs again. It's like no problem. So whenever I have
Yeah.
an issue. And then when I had my son, I went back after I had a C-section to regain my muscle and things like that. So Mills Peninsula is the best therapy place. I've gone there so much.
Yeah.
Are really wonderful. So my quote is this. You were asking me, it's all about mind over matter. The mind is infinite. Within all of us is the capacity to accomplish all that we would ever need and desire by simply putting our mind to it. And here's an example. But out of all the effects of the stroke, my husband thinks the most severe is not my left hand, leg, or cognitive impairments. No, it's my left visual field cut in both eyes. When I first came home from the hospital, I would run into the wall in my wheelchair all the time. Justin would be like, Mom, I can't see. So that's why I would probably never be able to drive again. But luckily, there's Uber and Lyft. And Ralph, in San Mateo County, there's something called Ready Wheels. For $4.25, you can go anywhere in the county.
Wow.
It's the best deal in San Mateo County. But a few years ago, my favorite clothing store, Anthropologie, closed down in Burlingame. And the closest one is now Stanford Shopping Center. But at Stanford, the only place they'll drop you off at for Ready Wheels is Macy's Men. So using
Oh,
my mind over matter, I escalated to Samtrans, made them look on a map, and he says, Orlena, you're right. Macy's Men is way too far to walk to Anthropology. So in your file, you're allowed to be dropped off at Anthropology.
how cool.
Example of using mind over matter. You just push your mind to something, you can achieve anything you want. It's all about your mindset. As COVID has shown us, push yourself to where your mind can take you and go beyond.
Very
So
nice.
remember COVID-19 in 2020?
Yes.
It hit us and the world paused. I joined an online support group for Moyamoya survivors, and many were sharing beautiful poetry. I thought I love poetry, but lacked the organizational skills to write my own book. So I banded with 20 other survivors and a few additional warrior poets in an online stroke poetry book forum to compile 44 poems. And on May 13th, just in time for Stroke Awareness Month, Archway of Simon Schuster published Emerging from the Smoke, a collection of warrior poetry. If you look at the cover art of my book, Moyamoya means a puff of smoke in Japanese. The front cover has a scan of a Moyamoya brain superimposed with a puff of smoke and warriors emerging from there. Neither of my
Neat.
parents lived to see my 10-year anniversary, so this book is a love letter to them. And the forward is written by my neurosurgeon, so that adds some legitimacy to it.
Nice.
And I really think there is a connection between stroke healing and poetry.
That's yeah, that's one of the things that interests me about you is the poetry aspect. Is a lot of people are into the stroke and music. You know, the music gives you a lot more. I never thought of the poetry until I looked at your book.
I think there might be a connection to that, actually. I think there should be
Yeah,
some research that should be done about that.
I agree. I agree. It definitely has some emotional impact as well as um, mental impact.
And then one of my favorite poems that I wrote is called Flowers Emerge into the Fold. Dandelions whisper through the void to uncover the darkness and let free the moon. In those quiet waves of strength, you know how much you are worth.
Beautiful.
So, although this talk might be a why not, the question should always be why yes. I chose to publish in 2022 to commemorate my 10 year because there are 44 poems in my book. I'm Chinese American, and in Chinese culture, the number four is bad luck because it has the same pronunciation as death or si. But the luckiest number in Chinese culture is eight or fa, which means fortune. My mind over matter approach is to take the bad and turn it into something wonderful and remarkable, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Last but not least, I have one final thought for you, which is at once both a tragedy and a miracle. In December of 2017, almost exactly 9 months after my dear mom passed away, we welcomed a new baby in our family, Russell, who has brought more joy than we ever imagined possible. Let me leave you with this quote. With Moya Moya, we may all be a little broken, but last I checked, broken crayons still color the same. I'm learning to color new things in my life now. Hopefully, I've been able to add some color to your understanding of stroke survival and that it's possible not just to survive, but to also thrive. And Ralph, actually, I forgot there was one thing I wanted to read in the beginning, and it was just a bunch
Okay.
of numbers, but I jumped too fast, actually.
That's all right. I do that too after my stroke.
Yeah, so before the, I don't know, somehow it got skipped for some reason. Like when I was preparing for this, I must have cut out some stuff. So Because I was a pre-law background, I didn't like numbers. So my husband was like, you should just start off with some numbers because this will, people can relate to this. So there's a slide that I have that I could show you next time. I should have actually prepared slides for this. So let's kick off with some numbers. 14, 6, 3.5, 2, 1800, 136, 2, 1. 14 ambulance rides within 5 months, 6-week hospitalization at Stanford, 3.5 weeks in a medically induced coma, 3 different acute rehab hospital stays ranging from Marin to Santa Clara County, 2 10-hour plus brain surgeries a week apart, 1,800 paper origami canes folded by countless coworkers, neighbors, and friends, 136 nights spent hospitalized away from home, 2 children, firstborn pre-stroke, secondborn post-stroke, 1 trip to Las Vegas by myself for a bachelorette party. See, these aren't lottery numbers, but maybe I should play and see if I'll get lucky. But that's one of
Well,
my, a way to draw people in.
that's
And
great numbers there.
then I
Wow.
ended with the crayons. Sorry, didn't.
I'm sorry.
Then I ended with the crayon quote.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I'm I'm curious. Uh, a lot of us go through a transformation, self-discovery, and change our personalities. For example, I lost my temper. My patience has increased. Um, what have you learned about yourself through the journey that you didn't know before your strokes?
Um, Maybe that I'm more resilient than I thought. That I'm not as a scared, much of a scaredy cat that I originally thought I was when I was young.
I like that because your story is a great story about resilience. I mean, everything you do is amazing. How did help asking for help play a role in your recovery?
Oh, from the very beginning, like I realized how much nurses made a difference in my life. When you're an inpatient for so much of your recovery, you look forward to seeing the same nurses. Like I would tell nurses, if you change my diaper, I'll take you out to lunch. I mean, I really relied on these people who take care of you, like how much of a difference they make on you. It just really matters.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Did you find your early recovery? Were you given enough information? A lot of us talk up here anyway. We didn't know what we didn't know because there's a lack of information. Did you find that you needed to be more of a self-advocate to get information than you were getting from others?
I just relied on the doctors and the nurses and like at least get some more pamphlets of information. Like my phone really helped me too. I needed my phone all the time to look up information for sure.
Nice. Your how has storytelling, yours and others, shift the conversation about invisible disabilities and stroke survivors?
I think it's also been important because there's a lot of invisible disabilities like ADD, so many different invisible disabilities that can be translated, not just physical ones. And I've been doing a lot of talks about it in the workplace these days. And it's not just my disabilities, but people are finding like other ones as well that have come to the surface whenever I bring mine up. And it's been hurtful for people to talk about the ones that they also know that they have. And they're so glad that I've been bringing it to the conversation.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing how many there are out there. What's the message you hope audiences walk away with when you speak at these conferences?
Just that they're not alone and that it will be okay. And that
What
they can
kinds of
find
feedback have you gotten about your book?
just
And
been of inspiration
nice,
lately.
nice.
And then people always want to get my book. And I find that my book has helped people get over a lot of difficulties, whether it's illnesses or diagnoses or loss. It's always helped them. Poetry can really heal the world, is what I've noticed.
Like that. That's beautiful. Is there anything that you didn't know that a new stroke survivor should know that you found out later on? You
Oh,
know what
just
I mean? There's like a lot information that we didn't get that, for example, in my case, there was no hope. Nobody said, hey, you can actually get off your cane or walker eventually. They tell you this is good as it gets. Did you ever have that happen to you?
no, I don't think so.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I found out after 6.5 years, I finally got off my cane. So I
Oh, how'd
mean,
you do that?
I hard work and great
Don't you get
physio.
scared?
Very, very much. I was always scared of going out in groups, because of COVID. I did all my shopping online. I didn't want to go out in public because I was afraid and embarrassed. So, I mean, that was something
What were you embarrassed about?
having to be in a walker and ride in that little wheelchair shopping
Oh,
cart.
I see.
That, I mean, it was one of the things I went through. It was
How'd
a
you get
mental.
off? How'd you stop walking with a cane?
I actually finally got some really good neurophysical therapists.
From
I
where?
didn't know there's a difference between a neurophysical therapist and physical therapist. Physical therapy handles, work injuries, um, those kind of things, sports injuries. But a neurophysical therapist focuses on stroke. So when I found them, they put me on a water treadmill, which was amazing. I actually started at speeds of 1.0, but now I can do 4.8 and I can do an 18-minute mile on a water treadmill running, which I never
No,
thought
but
I'd want to
seriously,
do.
Ralph, I would love to know how to get off a cane. Like, how do you do that?
I did the water treadmill and I didn't know about an AFO until 6 years later. I got an AFO, um, and did, I walked as much as I could.
Without a
I
cane?
without a cane. I'd start with 3 steps. I'd go to six. I try and do double every day of what I did the day before
With no cane.
with no cane. I did it by a counter or, something to grab onto if I were to fall. And then I did the exercise in a water treadmill. That was fantastic.
What's a
And
water treadmill? Where do you do that?
it's like a walk-in shower. The one side you walk in, you close the door, and then the water fills up. You walk into the other section, the water fills back up, and there's a treadmill in the water. So,
Ralph, I really like you. You are so cool. You know that? I think I can learn so much from you.
oh, thank you. Nobody's ever said that. Thanks
Oh, okay,
so
you're
much.
so cool. So no cane because you did water treadmill?
Yes, ma'am. That's what saved me.
Water treadmill. Where do you, okay, water treadmill. What else did you do?
Um, Pretty much that's it. Oh, and I went to work. I manage a storage facility and U-Haul dealership. So I have to work. And I started with working with the cane. But the more I did the things I used to do, as much as they looked horrible, I still continued to try to do them, and they got better and better.
Hey, Ralph, I have a question for you. Do you have any spasticity?
A little bit here and there, but it's not uh, nowhere near what it was. I
Are
mean,
you on medication to control it?
no, not
See,
at
I'm
all.
on a lot of medication for spasticity. My spasticity is really bad. Like I'm on a
Yeah.
high dose of baclofen. I also had seizures last year because I
Oh
overdid
my,
it in May from all my talks.
okay. Yeah, I don't know too much about those kind of medications because I was never on them.
Also,
the
you don't have
space.
Moyamoya like me. I have a more serious condition, maybe.
Yeah. Yours is a little more serious. Mine was a ischemic stroke in my brainstem.
Oh, okay.
So, so it wasn't even hemorrhagic. So,
You have a
you know,
pretty
so,
common type of stroke.
yeah, I often say, and people slap me or want to slap me, I say I feel like a fraud because some people go through such horrible things for so long, the spasticity and all that. And I'm almost completely recovered. I still have memory issues.
What was your profession previously?
I was a contractor of
Okay.
building.
Okay, got it.
And I don't do that anymore, but I can do physical landscaping work at the storage facility. I can paint the floors, mop the floors, stuff that I couldn't do before because I just did them, whether I thought I could or not.
Do you
And it
have
got
kids?
better. Pardon?
You have kids?
Yeah, I do. I have 4 children
Oh,
and
wow.
11 grandchildren.
Oh my gosh, you have a pretty full life too. Good for you, Ralph.
Very much. Family was very important in my recovery.
Oh, good.
Yeah, in the beginning, that it was amazing to me because the grandchildren, I moved in with my daughter and two of my grandchildren, and it was just unconditional love from them. They didn't see me as disabled. So my grandson wanted to learn how to cook Italian food with me. So we'd get up there and we'd start cooking, and that helped me mentally, emotionally. And it improved everything. It improved my physical, it improved my attitude and everything. That unconditional love from the children. So
Okay, so I'm starting to think I haven't done therapy in a while. I think my next goal should be to walk without a cane, Ralph. I've been walking
try,
without a cane for
you
14
could
years.
do research from HydroWorks.
Hydro works? Okay.
Yeah, they are the manufacturers, and they could probably tell you the
Is that
closest
one
local.
word? One word?
Yes,
Hydro.
I'll find a link and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But HydroWorks, and there's other places too that do um, what you call any kind of water therapy.
But
I know
do you wear a AFO?
not anymore.
How'd you see, I have to wear an AFO because I don't have the muscle to pull my foot forward from the
I built the muscle with the water treadmill.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. I sure that's what happened because, like I said, I never thought I'd run again. I can run. It's not pretty, but I can do it. And the water treadmill takes away the pressure. You
Yeah.
start you start walking and the resistance is different and it builds the muscle. And it worked great for me. Some people may not, but it saved me. It saved me.
Oh my God. Okay, so you did the water resistance. So this is not your average neural rehab then. This is not regular neural rehab. This is specialized.
No, it's specialized. There's a lot of people out there that do it, and it's neurophysical therapy, not physical therapy.
I know I've been doing neural rehab, but it doesn't sound like it's this though. It looks like a little different what you did.
And there's a lot of emergent technologies, Orlena. There's Vivistem is doing a vagal nerve stimulation thing. There's Psionic that has sleeves and electronics. There's another one, I can't remember, but you put a sensors on your head and then a hand brace, and you think about moving your hand, and your hand moves.
I have a question for you. Do you think I could just do regular rehab to just like traditional ways to work without a cane?
I'm not medically qualified to answer that, but for me, it was yes. I mean, first thing I do when I go to therapy, and I still go, is I get on the bike, the recumbent bike, and I do that for 5 to 10 minutes. and that builds the muscles in my leg. Then we get up and we do balancing exercises. We do treadmill. We do exercises. So it might be a good idea to do that. Um, and my physical therapist, one of the great things about her and them is they ask, what do you want to work on today? You want to work on strength, balance, stretching, those kind of things. So it's a relationship that creates better therapy for me anyway.
But your spasticity is still there or completely gone?
Mostly gone, 90%.
Do you wear a hand brace? Like Ralph, I have to wear a hand brace. Do you see?
Nope, nothing. Everything works.
Oh my gosh, so I have to wear a hand brace, otherwise my hand gets crumpled up.
Yeah, yeah. I know a couple people like that. Um, for me, what worked for me, believe it or not, was acupuncture. Got rid of my left arm problem.
But what side of the brain did you have your stroke?
I'm assuming, well, it was brainstem, so, but my left side was affected.
So mine was the right side, so my left side is affected.
Yeah, I guess mine's right side then, because the left side was affected. I still have numbness in my toes, my last three toes, and all the way back to my ankle. I can't feel that side of my foot, but other than that, most all of it's gone.
You're so lucky. I can't believe you take no medication, but you take baby aspirin, right, to prevent another stroke.
Yes, yes. I
But
take
no,
actually a bunch, 650 milligrams of aspirin twice a day.
oh
They
my
never
God.
put me on blood thinners, just aspirin.
But no spasticity medication. I'm amazed.
Yeah, I don't know. They've got me on one muscle relaxant that I've been on since the stroke, but I don't know if anything else they've given me that
Well, let me ask you if you ever need an inspirational speaker for SAL. Let me know.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, we can get you out here and do our event and Stroke Awareness Month next year or anytime you want to come.
Sure, I can just
Would
do it virtually.
pardon me?
I can just do it virtually. I'm not sure I can come to Oregon.
Well, then I will get you in touch with Keith Taylor so you can do one of our support groups.
Sure, I'd be happy to be a speaker. I can just do it through Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, that's how we do our support groups. We have people come from all over the country for support group. I'll send you that link as well.
And I do what I do is one of my I do like a TEDx or TED Talk format where it's like pretty jarring. We'll talk about like disparity in stroke care between African Americans and Asians and then it's also funny because it's about my stroke journey. So it's
Okay.
and it can be entertaining but also jarring and I have a lot of pictures and it's about 25 minutes. And then
Oh, perfect. That'd be great for
Q&A.
our support groups.
Great. And I have a slide
I-
deck.
So I'll get you in touch with Keith for that, and
Great.
he'll get you set up. He was former president of SAO. So
And I gave you like a snapshot today already. I gave you like a bunch of what I do in my talk today already. I shared a bunch, which I think you thought was pretty entertaining.
yeah, yeah, I've listened to a couple of them. They're pretty cool. So good. Well, let's wrap it up with a couple. And again, if you want to call me anytime, I think you have my number for my email.
I'm
But
so amazed by you though. Like you're a hero to me that you stopped walking with a cane. It's awesome, Ralph. You're
well,
amazing.
thank you. It took 7 years, but hey, I
I'm
can
gonna,
work.
that's my new goal to be like you, Ralph. Just like you. I love it.
Well, thank you very much.
Make
Um,
that my goal. I'm gonna be like Ralph.
I'm going to wrap up a little bit here with a couple quick questions for you. What's your favorite motivational quote?
Oh, that is so hard. I can't use my own, so I need to send you one sometime. Oh, there was one actually that I just found, but it was by Coco Chanel, but I have to look it up. Darn it. I just had it too.
Uh, too bad.
Don't know what happened. It was about our ages. Shoot. I don't, can I look for it and then get back to you?
Yeah. Then I'll jump to the next quick question. One stroke, one thing stroke survivors should never give up on.
Don't ever give up on hope. The power of hope. All human beings need is just a little bit of hope to get through their life and their day. It's
Love
true.
it. A piece of advice you would give your younger self before the stroke.
Is go easy on yourself. Give yourself a little chance and give yourself a little break.
Cool. What brings you joy today?
My family, so happy about my family.
And you have two children, right?
Yes.
A
They're
boy and
seven
a
and a half
girl.
years apart. And the day I was so happy that I actually had both of them was one time I really made them mad. And then they basically said, well, mommy, you won't see us tomorrow because we're both going to New Zealand. You'll never see us again. And I realized that they were just happy that they had each other. And they're like the odd couple because they're 7.5 years apart.
Yeah,
It's really cute.
very cool.
Russell and Annabelle.
How do people find out about your book? How do they find out about your speaking engagements and those kind of things?
So my book is on Amazon. You can find it's called Emerging from the Smoke, a collection of warrior voices. And just email me to ask me about where I'm doing my next talk, orlenashek@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And that's ORLENASHEK.
HEK.com at
Okay,
Gmail.
perfect. Perfect. Elena, thank you for showing, even in dark moments, that the path can be better, that you move on and that you can get things more positive. We appreciate everything you do and your advocacies. Thank you very much.
No, it was so amazing to meet you, Ralph. You're really great. I'm so glad you
Th-
saw me
Thank
out.
you. We'll talk some more. I look
Definitely.
forward to talking again.
All right. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't leave.